Ring, 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 hello, pumpkins and cupcakes.
Better. Much better.
And welcome back to Oh No, we're poor again, Cave.
Hey, you didn't land it. You didn't land it. Welcome back to the Krown Crypto channel. Wishing you a happy, healthy, success, hump day action going on right here. We all got humped. We all got humped by the good old CZ and SBF, the two billionaires with only acronyms as their names. And at the end of the day, a Black Swan event has emerged, which I can definitely say that I did not foresee. This is something that was definitely a surprise to me, despite not having any assets on FTX or Binance, but definitely was a surprise to say the least. So my heart goes out to anyone out there who was affected. In a more sincere tone, I do want to say that, hey, I have complete empathy and sympathy for your situation. It is, these things do happen. This is a part of the risk of the game that we do play. And well, I just want to remind everyone that while it might not seem like it, it is just money at the end of the day, and things will go on, things will get better. And in the meantime, I wanted to follow up on the analysis that we've been looking at for the past few days here. And in this case, let's first start it off with the higher term timeframes, because this is all really a continuation of the higher term timeframes. So yesterday, we were looking at the coalescence of all higher term timeframes in unison, in concert with each other, with extreme lows on volatility, the BBWP indicator over here representing that. The daily is expanding off extreme lows. The 2-day is expanding off historical lows on CME, and the 5-day is also at extreme lows alongside the weekly. Speaking of the weekly, we do see that hidden bearish divergence is populating, and of course, that is already confirmed on the 5-day for spot price action, which closed last night. Actually not confirmed, but I would say that that's about as good as confirmed as you're going to get, or close enough to it. The 2-day time frame has the same sort of hidden bearish divergence in there, already confirmed. Yes, that's the one that I meant to say, not the 5-day, but the 2-day is confirmed, and the daily is obviously the same as well here. So ultimately, yesterday we were looking at many things. We were looking at first a continuation of that move down to the weekly range lows. That was that move down to just around 18,000 bucks or so, this blue box right here. Then we were looking at a bounce from that blue box. I didn't really give any, necessary targets on that bounce. Just saying, hey, if you see Bitcoin start to close higher timeframes back above 20,000 bucks, that would be a reclaim, and that would be, well, essentially bullish. Obviously, that did not happen, although Bitcoin did have a heroic bounce at those levels. But here's the thing. The bounce did fail, obviously, and so the bears resume control below 20,000 bucks, and I would actually even move that pivot down now to $19,000. You can see how the order of operations has changed over the past few days, as we adjust that level for the barrels in control. It was 20,500, that failed, and then got moved down to 20,000 bucks. Obviously stayed below, still in control, now $19,000 on a daily closing basis for CME. So with that in mind, I do want to put things into perspective here with the 2-day time frame chart, which we have been referencing for a while now, and I would say that this is very much relevant right now. So what is the signal, or what is the chart representing? Well, it is a chart of the 2-day time frame volatility of stochastic momentum, which is this indicator right here, versus stochastic momentum. And the volatility portion of this indicator, whenever it has gotten to extreme lows, which are defined as anything below this green horizontal bar for the full history of CME's existence, the expansion phase from those extreme lows has led to an average move of 39.5% almost, done over the course of about 3.5 weeks or so, and the stochastic oscillator has been correct in getting the direction of that volatility expansion 8 out of 10 times. Now, I do want to address this. 10 times, as far as backtesting goes, it would not be acceptable for me when trading lower term timeframes, nor higher term timeframes for that matter, but it's the best that we can do for the full history, again, of CME. So, still rather good results, I would say, and in this case, we can see that we already had the initial etchings of volatility expansion over the past 2 closures here, or at least a past closure, and the stochastic oscillator is going to close today and will close down, as assuming that Bitcoin on CME closed below 20,500 or so. If that does happen, then, well, we're probably going to see a continuation of this, and we can look at the average move and the first standard deviation calculations here as relevant areas of interest to the downside. So in this case, and this is only relevant for the higher term timeframes. This is not to say that the short term timeframes can't bounce. That's definitely possible, but we'll get into that a little bit later. In this case, the average move, or the bottom end of the first standard deviation. Let me just pull this down because we're gonna desperately need it. Would be about 32% puts Bitcoin where? In the mid $15,000 to lower $15,000 territory. The average puts Bitcoin somewhere around 14,000 ish to 13.5, and then the higher end of the first standard deviation at almost 47% obviously puts it much lower. So I won't go over that right now. Obviously, it's probably not going to be relevant right now as well, seeing as the average takes about 3.5 weeks to play out. But that would give us an intended sort of date, somewhere around end of November, basically, which I do think is relevant. In this particular case. So these are all the higher term timeframes right here. I do want to now go through the lower term timeframes, of which, it should be known that on 4-hour time frame, volatility is hitting extremes. I expect it to kind of, level out at extreme extremes for a little bit more, but this is a 4-hour time frame. This is not to be confused with anything representing the higher term timeframes that is obviously, governing price action right now. So let's go reference stochastic momentum and see if a bounce is maybe likely on the short-term timeframes. Hourly stochastic momentum is currently pointed up as long as Bitcoin is above 17.8 on CME, which it's actually quite well below, to be fair, with 7 minutes left to go until closure. Don't need to go through the 2-hour, but the 4-hour time frame is going to be will cross up. I would say this is a rather weak cross though. Bitcoin can close above 17,200, so right now it's above there, so that's good. 6-hour time frame is going to be nosediving below 17,750, and 12-hour time frame is going to be nosediving below 20,420. Great number right there. Daily time frame, it will be continuing downside as well, with volatility expansion alongside closures below 20,150. So again, I personally speaking would be looking at the short-term timeframes. The relevant ranges to the upside in this case would be 18,600. Bitcoin can reclaim that even on an hourly closure, which right now is playing out hidden bearish divergence, but I think that's mostly played out, to be fair. Then I would say that the Bulas have a little bit of hopium, but I would not say that hopium is confirmed for a major, massive bear trap in this case until Bitcoin on the daily is at minimum closing back above 19,000 bucks. Again, understand the order of operations and how these things move down. And well, in this case, as long as Bitcoin's below 19,000 bucks, risk continues to be to the downside on an actual big break here. I would say the one piece of hopium that I'd want to, potentially reference. Actually, before we get into that, I should also denote that yes, the daily signal on the Joule was confirmed yesterday. That was potential. Obviously, got confirmed on closure with the DMI support. And then of course the one piece of hopium is that Dixie continues to play at the downside move that we were looking for coming into this week and probably over the next month or so. But here's the thing: Bitcoin's obviously bifurcating from that due to this Black Swan event. So I don't know what that essentially means. Could that provide the potential for hopium, or could that just say that Bitcoin's decoupling and this obviously matters more? I don't know. I have no idea. I just look at the relevant levels, and this would be kind of my one source of potential hopium here, alongside maybe the CPI prints coming out tomorrow as being good, right? So we'll see, of course. But hey, if you do see Bitcoin start to close back above 19, again on a daily, that's at the point where I'd look for Bitcoin to grind it out sideways and very likely put in a move, try for a move somewhere around, let's say like 22,000 bucks, 21.5 to 22,000 bucks, maybe into December. But for right now, I would say unlikely. So yeah, I think that basically just about does it. Short-term timeframes, again, they can very easily bounce, and I would expect bounces, but I don't really have anything to change on the short-term timeframes as long as you're below, or as long as CME, not you, are below 18,600 or so on even an hourly closing basis. I think that's a good place to probably leave off on a video like this. Don't want to be too much of a downer here, as I have been for the last, while. Apologies, don't mean to laugh. But what else? Is there any hopium? The hopium is with Bybit's current promotion going on right now, as they're actually offering up a $30,000 deposit bonus alongside 0% on maker fees for both spot and derivative contracts. I believe that last portion is only available with my link in the description below. And then of course there's all sorts of fine writing, so definitely check it out and make sure that you read the fine writing if you're interested in the link in the description below. I think that's a good place for me to be leaving off right here. I want to take a second to wish you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.